on YouTube, live on Rumble. Good evening, hello, welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. I am Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you, thank you so much for coming in and watching. Today is, of course, Saturn's Day, aka Saturday, May 30th, 2026. This show is about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history. We have a 38-page document today, so a little on the higher side than average. But we'll get through it, no problem. Anyway, let's get started. It's the year 70. We have the Siege of Jerusalem. Titus and his Roman legions breached the second wall of Jerusalem. Jewish defenders retreated to the first wall. The Romans built a circumvallation, cutting down all trees within 15 kilometers or 9.3 miles.
Wow.
You know, of the just yeah. And I believe a circumvallation is like they built actual walls and such surrounding that.
Oh.
So then,
couldn't
like,
get out.
Yeah, so it's not just they're getting besieged, it's that, like, they don't have the numbers to lay siege to the outside walls that are now around them, if I'm making any sense. So, and we have right here, the Siege of Jerusalem. One, by late May, the first and second walls were breached. Two, a siege wall is erected around the city to prevent escape in early July. So right here, the black is Jerusalem. The red is the wall that they built around who they were sieging. Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Three, the Anzonia fortress fell in mid-June, and the temple was was torched on August 28th. Or the Romans tore down the temple in Jerusalem.
Right.
And then four, despite bloody street fighting, both upper and lower cities fell into Roman hands on August 30th. So, like, this is when like the second wall was breached, and then he retreated to the first wall. So we'll be talking about the siege of Jerusalem a couple of times over the next couple of months here. Moving on up to 1381, English peasant uprising began in Essex. So it's the beginning of the peasants' revolt in England. All right, go peasants! 1416, Jerome of Prague burnt at the stake for heresy by Church Council of Constance. He was a supporter of anti-pope John the 23rd. So that would probably be why. So yeah, this followed a trial for heresy. Oh, it's just telling me to image search this, so I'm going to do that. Like, I didn't necessarily want somebody being burned on the stake on the thumbnail. I've had it before. But, like, this is the image, actually, that I used last year, and I know that for a fact, because from this time last year, boom, there it is. Oh. So, and this was actually in the thumbnail right here. And we also have Joan of Arc right afterward, also gets burnt at the stake. 1431, during the 100 Years' War, 19-year-old Joan of Arc was burnt at the stake by an English-dominated tribunal in ruined France. So, the Roman Catholic Church remembers this day as the celebration of Saint Joan of Arc. So, it's telling me to image search this one as well. So we have
only 19?
19.
Jeez.
Led armies of men, you know, like twice their age and strength, you know, tacticians. Doesn't matter how strong you are. If you're strong up here, you're stronger everywhere, because then you can lead, you can tactize, you can save lives, you know. So, but unfortunately, in the case of Joan of Arc, not her own. But yeah, she's since been beatified and everything. Yeah, she's a saint, as it says here, Saint Joan of Arc. Yeah. 1434, Battle of Lipany, also called the Battle of Chesky Broad, ending Tabartory's influence. So during the Hussite Wars, this effectively ended the war. Ultraquist forces led by Divis Borek of Militanic defeated and almost annihilated Tabarite forces led by Procop the Great. All right, 1498, Christopher Columbus departed with 6 ships for his third trip to to America.
Yeah.
So, yeah. 1510, during the reign of the Zengid Emperor Ming Dynasty, rebel leader Zhu Zifan was defeated by Commander Kui Yu, ending the Prince of Anula Rebellion. Oh, okay, that makes sense. 1527, University of Marburg in Germany was founded. I wonder if it's still around. That's a really old university.
Yeah, it is.
That's actually next year it'll be 500 years. Yeah. Wow, that's half a millennium there.
If it still exists.
If it's still around, yeah. 1536, King Henry VIII of England married Jane Seymour, a lady-in-waiting, to his first 2 wives. What is a lady-in-waiting? I've heard the word, but I've never, like...
Ready to be married or something.
Let's see here. Let's see. As a female personal assistant at a court, attending on a royal woman or a high-ranking noblewoman. Historically, in Europe, a lady-in-waiting was often a noblewoman, but of lower rank than a woman to whom she attended. Although she may or may never have received financial or other compensation for her service, a lady-in-waiting was considered more of a secretary, courtier, or companion to her mistress than a servant. Okay. Well, so like it's someone who's doing work while waiting.
Taking care of her needs.
Pretty interesting. Lady in... Hold on a second. There. In waiting. Why am I so old with typing right now? These links will be in the underbar, the description below after the live stream. We already have some cool links down there, though, if you want to check those out. 1539, Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto's expedition of 10 ships and 700 men landed in Florida. So the other source, though, says he landed at Tampa Bay with 600 soldiers and the goal of finding gold. So we have a 100-soldier discrepancy. Where'd those 100 men go? 1588, the last ship of the Spanish Armada set sail from Lisbon, heading for the English Channel. We covered that yesterday. Remember, it wasn't until the 30th when all 300 ships or whatever.
Yeah, it took, whole day or whatever.
Yeah. 4 centuries ago, 1626, an explosion at the Wang Gongcheng gunpowder factory in Beijing destroyed a part of the city and killed 20,000 people.
Oh, jeez.
Holy crap, dude.
Must have been from a fire then or something.
Well, it's an explosion. Well, I guess a fire, of course.
20,000. No explosion going to kill 20,000.
Hiroshima?
Well...
I get your point, but I still had to prove you wrong. But yeah, no, you're right. The fire, most likely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the explosion caused the fire.
Yes, of course.
1631, the Treaty of Fontainebleau, signed between Maximilian I, Elector of Bavaria, and the Kingdom of France, establishing a secret alliance between them during the 30 Years' War. I initially was not going to cover that, but a couple articles from now, I went back and I covered because we're going to be talking about the 30 Years' War again.
Okay.
First, though, 1631 as well, we have publication of the Gazette de France, the first French newspaper. All right. And let's take it. Nope. There we go. All right. Image search. So, yeah, here it is. This is not, this is the 5th of November, 1631 issue. So it's not May 30th. So that's why it's not in the thumbnail. But, here's an example of that publication. Pretty cool. Oh, here we go. What is this? Mardi 26, Mardi. Oh, okay. December 26, 1786. Oh, that's the day after Christmas. That's pretty cool. Oh. What else do we got here? 1635, the Peace of Prague, signed between the Habsburg Emperor Ferdinand II and the Electorate of Saxony, representing Protestant states of the Holy Roman Empire. It effectively ended the Civil War aspect of the 30 Years' War. So there you go again.
Good.
So there is a war in a war going on, like meta wars. 1642, all honors granted by Charles I were retrospectively annulled by the Parliament. Why? Well, I guess wasn't Charles I? He was the one who got executed for treason or something. Yeah, that's right. He's the guy who kept dissolving Parliament. Okay, so that would make sense. He kept dissolving Parliament, so then Parliament dissolved him. You live by the sword, you die by the pen. 1667, Margaret Cavendish was the first woman to attend a meeting of the Royal Society, watching demonstrations by Robert Boyle and Robert Hooke. 1723, Johann Sebastian Bach assumed the office of Thomas Cantor in Leipzig, presenting his first new cantate, Die Elendon sollen Essen, BWV 75, in the St. Nicholas Church on the first Sunday after Trinity. No clue what that is, but it's something to do with religion. It sounded important.
Time.
1783, Benjamin Tower of Philadelphia published the first daily newspaper in the U.S. What is this? We're not there yet. So let's take a look at what our newspapers look like. So here you go, the Pennsylvania Evening Post. July 1st, 1775. So actually, no, this is something else. Hold on a second. Well, no, this is... Okay, well, that might not be daily. Because this is daily.
Yeah.
So, this could have been weekly, because this predates what I just read by 8 years. So, we don't even know which one it was. And it doesn't even say, it just says the first daily newspaper. It doesn't tell us the name. 1793, French revolutionary Georges Couthon chosen to be a member of the French Committee, the Solid Public. Okay. 1796, during the War of the First Coalition, in the Battle of Borgetto, Napoleon Bonaparte managed to cross the Mincio River against the Austrian army. This crossing forced the Austrians to abandon Lombardy and retreat to the Tyrol, leaving the fortress of Mantua as the sole remaining stronghold in northern Italy. So not many targets. 1806, future U.S. President Andrew Jackson killed Charles Dickinson in a duel after Dickinson accused Jackson's wife of bigamy. That's, them's fighting words. Like, nowadays people are so used to insulting and shitting on each other, it's become a cultural staple. Back in the day, you get bopped or killed for that. And, like, in some ways, like, we need frontier justice back in full force. 1808, Napoleon Bonaparte annexed Tuscany and gave it seats in the French Senate. All right. 1814, during the Napoleonic Wars, War of the Sixth Coalition, the Treaty of Paris in 1814 was signed, returning French borders to their 1792 extent. The other source says the first Treaty of Paris was signed, returning the French frontiers to the 1792 extent and restoring the House of Bourbon to power. And the reason why it specifies 1814 Treaty of Paris, if I look up the Treaty of Paris, let's see here. I just clicked that. There's a lot of them. I'm trying to find where it says all the other ones. Hold on a second. Treaty of Paris list. Because there's a lot of various here we go. That's the one I'm trying to find. Treaties. We have the Treaty of Paris in 1229, Treaty of Paris in 1259, Treaty of Paris in 1313. It's the same treaty, just different years. So, like, look at these are all, to some extent, Treaty of Parises. All 1800s, 2000s. It's wild. Paris Agreement, 2015. You know what? I'm going to throw this link in the underbar. Just a Treaty of Paris. If anybody wants to jump down the rabbit hole of this. Moving on up, what else do we got here? 1815, the East Indiaman Artiston was wrecked during a storm at Waikushaurans near Cape Agulhas in present-day South Africa with a cost of 372 lives. 1821, James Boyd patented the rubber fire hose. So he received a patent for a cotton rubber-lined fire hose. And here's an image. That's just a rubber fire hose, more modern and everything. Last year, I had this image.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually here's an image of the duel of the guy shooting the other guy and everything. That's the Spanish Armada, and that's
Joan of Arc,
and that's that other guy. So I am now caught up with both sets of images. Pretty interesting. Next image, they're both of this same canal. But we'll get to that here in a minute. 1822, George Wilson and Joe LaRoche betray a planned slave revolt organized by Denmark Vesey in Charlestown, South Carolina, confirming an earlier warning from Peter Perlew. 35 black people were later hanged. This date is approximate. Wow, they snitched. Friggin' rats. 1832, Everest Galois gave his theory on free assembly. He died in a duel on May 31st. Yikes. That's tomorrow.
Deaths going on in a duel.
Yeah, that's tomorrow.
Yeah.
1832, the Rideau Canal in eastern Ontario was opened, the oldest continuously operated canal system in North America. So it doesn't look like it's a big canal.
No, not much.
Judging by this, but still, 1832. If it's still going on today, that looks like a more modern picture.
Yeah.
So
they got to change the levels to match where they're going.
Yeah. 1834. Minister of Justice Joaquin Antonio de Aguilar issued a law seizing all convents, monasteries, colleagues, hospices, and any other house from the Catholic religious orders in Portugal, earning him the nickname the Friar Killer. What an asshole. 1842, John Francis attempted to assassinate Queen Victoria as she drove down Constitution Hill in London with Prince Albert.
Whoa.
Wow. 1885, the fatal Rezek coming from India landed in the Gulf of Paria in Trinidad and Tobago, carrying the first Indians to the country, or the first Rajians, or whatever you want to call them, because they weren't called India yet. Coming from India, but they weren't called India, were they? So I'm gonna image search this here really quick. I just want to show what the actual ship looked like.
Oh yeah.
Because I tried. This is very blurry, and it's rather small. Although that could have actually gone into the thumbnail. But I also wanted to show the map right here. Actually, right here. No, we're not there yet. The map here. So that's where they came, Calcutta. And then I got into Mauritius, Captain Guten Hofken, I guess Cape of Good Hope or something.
Yeah.
Then St. Helena, which is where Napoleon died at, and then Trinidad and Tobago. So that's the route they took of the article we just read. I always find that really interesting. 1848, Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo between the United States and Mexico came into force, giving California, Nevada, Utah, and most of Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona to the U.S. in return for $15 million.
Wow.
There it is, yeah. So the whole thing with Texas and Mexico, and then, eventually we got that, and then Guadalupe Hidalgo. So, chomp chomp by Mexico. So, they learned, though, the saying is third time's a charm, but I don't think they'll fare very well if they try to war with us again here.
No.
So, right here, main points of the treaty. Mexico recognized that the Republic of Texas boundaries began in the Rio Grande River and not in the Nueces River. So, right here.
Yeah.
So, Guadalupe Hidalgo also worked on this. So, that's really interesting. And the U.S. added 525,000 square miles to its territory, which included Upper California and New Mexico. The cession was paid by the U.S. to Mexico for $15 million and was called the Mexican cessation. Okay, that's what the image is cut off at the bottom here. So, 1848.
Cessation leaving Mexico.
Yeah. 1848, William G. Young patented ice cream freezer. Now, we have a discrepancy here because according to other source, it says William G. Young of Baltimore, Maryland received a patent for an improvement in ice cream freezers.
Mm.
So did he just straight up invent the damn thing, or is he making an improvement on it? That's a big discrepancy for those who want actual facts, So actually, let's just image search this. So we basically had something like this. Like in theory, like we had several plastic bags and stuff in middle school. We made ice cream in a classroom once.
Yeah, we made ice cream here once.
Ah.
When you were little.
I don't remember that, though. So, I was little. 1854, Kansas-Nebraska Act repealed Missouri Compromise, creating the territories of Kansas and Nebraska. Mm-hmm. All right. 1858, Hudson's Bay Company rights to Vancouver Island was revoked. 1862, during the American Civil War, the U.S. Civil War, I guess, the siege of Corinth ended in a Union victory, with General Henry Halleck capturing the critical rail junction of Corinth in Mississippi from retreating Confederate forces under General P.G.T. Beauregard. Q Kazoo. 1868, Decoration Day was later called Memorial Day. It was first observed in the U.S. on this time. So, yeah, after a proclamation by John A. Logan, head of the Grand Army of the Republic, a veterans group. 1876, the secret decree of Ems Ukaz, issued by Russian Tsar Alexander III in the German city of Bad Ems, was aimed at stopping the printing and distribution of Ukrainian language publications in the Russian Empire. Wow, Russia just hates Ukraine. 1879, 92 degrees Fahrenheit, highest temperature ever recorded in Cleveland in May. Oh, it was 92 degrees Fahrenheit at this date in 1879? I thought everything was heating up. I thought all this climate change and global warming and it's all bullshit. It's been the same shit for hundreds of years. The world's not heating up. It's a lie.
You know what I've always said? They originally were calling it climate
no, they're calling
cooling.
It. Well, they were calling it global cooling and global warming. Now they're just calling it climate change.
Yeah.
So that way, it's no longer like, I thought you said it was warming up. It's cooling. Oh, no, it's just changing. Now it doesn't matter how it changes. It changes. It's all bullshit. 1879, Gilmore Garden in New York City was renamed Madison Square Garden. Now,
it was Gilmore Garden?
Yeah, it was, apparently. And I wonder if that's where the Gilmore Girls were from. Now, I wonder, do you remember why Times Square is called such?
I do not.
We covered this.
I do not remember.
For the New York Times recently moving there. The city named it Times Square in honor of them.
Yeah.
So they used to be headquartered somewhere else or something. 1883, a stampede caused by a rumor that the Brooklyn Bridge was going to collapse killed 12 people.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, this is an artist rendition, but you have a guy over here flying over the edge. So no, he's not. There's a railroad track there, so he's not falling to his death.
Right.
Okay, so that's good.
That's the train's coming.
Well, I said not falling to his death.
No.
Getting run over is another story. 1896, first baseman Dave Fuentes hit Brooklyn Bridegrooms, later Dodgers' first ever home run during a doubleheader, defeating the Chicago Colts at Washington Park, Brooklyn. I did not know they were called the Bridegrooms before.
I had no idea of that.
Now I wonder are they called the Dodgers because they dodged the wedding? Seriously, I wonder why. Like, like the act of dodging. Why are they called the Dodgers?
I don't know.
Like.
I don't know why they're called.
Would it be because, like, legitimately, like, is it because they dodged this name or something? Like, you know what?
Doubtful.
Hold on a second. Why did the Dodgers change their name from bridegrooms? Let's see here. Brooklyn Dodgers. Okay, it's the Dodgers changed their name from bridegrooms after 6 players got married around the same time, leading to the nickname bridegrooms, which was later shortened to grooms before evolving into Dodgers.
Didn't tell us why though.
Well, that is why they got married, and so marriage did have something to do with it. But
no, marriage had something to do with the bridegrooms because 6 of them got married.
Yeah.
But then all they say there is that later becoming the Dodgers. They don't connect the 2 dots.
You're right. Yeah, because this says they changed their name from bridegrooms, but then it says they got the nickname bridegrooms. Yeah, this is confusing. AI is confusing me here. What else do we got here? 1894, Boston Bean Eaters baseball second baseman Bobby Lowe first to hit 4 home runs in an MLB game in a 20-11 win against the Cincinnati Reds. All right, and that's another old name, the Bean Eaters.
Yeah.
1896, the first car accident occurs. Henry Wells hit a cyclist in New York City. Henry Wells of Wells and Fargo? Or Wells Fargo? Is it?
Could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now,
go ahead.
I'm just going to say, and thus the war began, and the car struck first. What were you going to say?
I just going back up to the Boston
Bean Eaters?
It is known as Beantown. Boston is known as Beantown.
Well, there is Boston Baked Beans. Yeah, you're right. So that is, yeah. And I'm just wondering, what the hell was that bicycle made? Look at that. The bicycle is pristine, and the car is a heap. What? Wow.
Something's wrong. Look at that thing.
Yeah, the bicycle is like Das Auto. So, what else do we got here? 1901. Actually, no, 1899. Pearl Hart, a female outlaw of the Old West, robbed a stagecoach 30 miles southeast of Globe, Arizona.
Jeez.
Yeah. 1901, Hall of Fame for Great Americans dedicated on NYU campus, so New York University.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's still around. So. 1902, Spanish King Alfonso XII, who was elected as a constitutional monarch, suspended the Cortes, Spain's parliament. Uh-oh.
Doesn't sound good.
No. 2 years later, Frank Chance got hit by a pitch 5 times in the doubleheader. Okay, at some point, when does it become intentional?
Yeah.
You know? Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, there's more to that.
Yeah. I mean, I got hit 2 or 3 times in a game, in Little League.
I know.
Like, and they were aiming at me. Like, 1906, Hershey Park, founded by Milton S. Hershey for the exclusive use of his employees, was opened. That's kind of stupid. I mean, you're gonna make an entire amusement park. Maybe it wasn't a huge thing, but still, like, you're gonna have something like that exclusively for your workers. Like, that's a huge expense with 0 income. What the hell?
Well,
like,
one of the perks, for working there, you get housing. You have wives have a place to take their kids to play. It's just another perk.
But I mean, you say that as if there's no public park anywhere within like
Probably
5
not.
miles?
Probably not.
I don't know.
Hershey was built around the chocolate factory, basically.
Huh. Maybe. 1908, first federal workmen's compensation law was approved. Okay. We also have Aldrich Vineland Currency Act, a forerunner to the Federal Reserve System. Now, this sounds like Rothschild propaganda because this almost makes it seem like they're trying to alleviate all the stuff the Rothschilds did with Woodrow Wilson and the 1913 thing that they did, signing it into law. Or maybe this is something that they were doing beforehand. I'm not sure. But look into it, people. 1908 as well, Paris advocate E. Archdeacon was first passenger in an airplane. That's pretty cool. So we have the first ever passenger in an airplane.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, I'm sure, have had that question. Like, who was the first person to be a passenger in an airplane? Well, now we have answered your question. You're welcome.
Well, I think you got to count everyone that went on that first flight would be the first passenger, not just the guy that got on board.
Well, no. Remember a couple of days ago,
he was the only one that went.
Yes, because remember a couple days ago we spoke about the first airplane with a passenger, and it only had one seat.
Oh, okay.
It had the pilot
Okay,
seat
yeah,
and then the seat next to
okay.
it. So that's
Okay,
he's
yeah.
it.
Okay, then that would be it.
1908. You think they'd have more than 2 seats?
Apparently
Like,
not.
I mean, we're
Maybe
talking.
they didn't sell out.
Oh, also at that same time, well, just 1 year prior, what was his face? Like, one of the Wright brothers, he was on his belly. There was no seat.
Yeah.
You know, so 1909, Reuben Siegel laid the cornerstone of the first home in Tel Aviv, which is now is Tel Aviv the capital of Israel, or is it Jerusalem?
I believe they changed it.
Well, I know
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
because I know that the U.S. embassy is in Jerusalem.
So they just moved. Trump moved it in his first term.
Yeah.
To Jerusalem.
Yeah. 1911, first Indianapolis 500. Ray Huron, driving a Marmon Wasp for Nordic and Marmon Company, came out of retirement, winning inaugural event, average speed of 74.602 miles per hour, or 120.060 kilometers per hour. And he was the first winner of the 500-mile auto race. And I actually have an image of him right here from last year.
Ah.
Look at that old car. Pretty
Yeah.
cool. So, what was this? Many bicyclists came to grief. Bicyclists were... Oh, this was the car accident. Okay.
Oh.
It hit, the car hitting the bike. Which, yeah, the car hit first. So, 1912, U.S. Marines were sent to Nicaragua. Why? Oh. 1913, John McGraw joined Fred Clark, Cap Anston, Frank Silly, and Connie Mack as managers who have won 1,000 games.
Ah, good for them.
Yep. We have the Treaty of London was signed by the great powers, the Ottoman Empire, and the victorious Balkan League, Serbia, Greece, and the Kingdom of Bulgaria and Montenegro, bringing an end to the First Balkan War. And, the First World War will appear just the next year. So, we also have 1940. Look at this. That's all that one article I just read.
Wow.
From different sources and
Yeah.
then like different adaptations, different edits. Next year I'm going to be combining them all. And now let's show the audience. That's all. I just read this part. Okay. This is all what I have to do next year. Why I'm not going to be doing the shows every day next year. 1914, the new and then the largest Cunard ocean liner RMS Aquitania, at 45,647 tons, set sail on her maiden voyage from Liverpool, England to New York City. Look at that ship.
Yeah.
Good ship. So, I do not have an image of that, but 1921, Lord Dunsea's If premiered in London. Not to be confused with It, of Stephen King.
Yeah.
So, I mean, T and I, it's just that much away from being a T, or T and F.
Yeah.
So, 21.
Down.
Yep. 21 as well. Memorial to Captain Eddie Grant, who was killed in World War I, was unveiled at the Polo Grounds in New York City. Does it still exist? Over 100 years later. You know what? I'm gonna image search this really quick. And actually, before I image search it, I'm gonna do a quick scan to see if we have any comments. No, we do not. Okay. Back to image searching. Let's see here. Oh, okay. This looks like it's still around then. Because that's a memorial there. So, but then we have a grave. So I don't know. Is it still around? Let us know in the comment section.
I don't think it is.
So 21, Salzburg, Austria voted to join Germany. I wonder if that's where the steak comes from.
Could be.
I mean, you have Frankfurt for Frankfurter, Hamburg for hamburger. Now you have Salzburg for the steak. I mean, Germany, the German chocolate cake. Holy crap! They're taking all the food. Wiener Schnitzel. 22, completed Lincoln Memorial in Washington, D.C. was dedicated by U.S. Chief Justice William Howard Taft in front of 50,000 people. So, future President William Howard Taft was just the U.S. Chief Justice at the time, but there's a photo of it.
Yeah.
Tinted green or something, so it looks pretty cool. What else we got here? 22, Cubs and Cardinals traded outfielders between morning and afternoon games of doubleheader. Max Flack went to St. Louis. Cliff Heathcote headed to Chicago. Both got hits for new clubs in the nightcap. What a strange thing to happen.
Yeah, play for one team early and the other team late.
Talk about being a doorknob. 22, Latvia and the Vatican signed an accord. I'd like to know about what, As soon as the Vatican's involved in something, it starts raising an eyebrow. Okay, is this it? Concordat of 1922? So, I'm going to add this in the underbar section. Concordats 1922. So, if anybody wants to look this up, let us know in the comment what you find us, or what you find. Not just for your own information or for ours, but anybody else watching this video and just so happens to want to expand their own education. Yeah, like we're all in this together. Let's, help each other out. I saw that. 24, socialist mandatory fell in Italian parliament by fascists. I see everything, Wazowski. Do you not see that I can see you right here in front of me? So you think I can't see this? 25 British mariners shot on demonstrators. Why? What are they demonstrating? What's going on? In China, protests erupted against the great powers infringing on Chinese sovereignty. Oh, one of the few cases they actually side with the Chinese. They should have their rights and freedoms. The May the 13th movement, Shanghai Municipal Police Force shot and killed 13 protesting workers. Didn't we cover that yesterday?
I remember that.
Like this was in Shanghai. I remember China, their force killed a bunch of people, and that was yesterday. I think we covered this yesterday. 25 as well. We're just stuck in 1925. Peter DiPaolo became the first man to average over 100 miles per hour at Indy.
Wow.
That must have been a car. So
yeah, of course.
Obviously not running. 27. Walter Johnson recorded his 110th and final shutout of his Baseball Hall of Fame career, the most in MLB history. Washington Senators scored 3-0 over Boston Red Sox. Excellent. Yeah. 1930, Shedd Aquarium, one of the first inland aquariums in the world, opened in Chicago, Illinois. Yeah, I wonder if they're still around, Shedd Aquarium. Let's see if they are. Shedd Aquarium. Yeah, it looks like they're still around. So, yeah. 1931, the Phillies, Chuck Klein homers off Ben Cantwell Braves in both ends of a doubleheader. 33, patent on invisible glass installation. Huh.
What?
Patent on invisible glass installation. So the act of installing this type of glass, there's a patent. 35 as well. Philadelphia pitcher Jim Biven retired Babe Ruth on an infielder grounder in the Braves' final MLB at-bat. Ruth played just one inning for the Boston Braves in an 11-6 loss to the Phillies at the Baker Bowl. End of an era there.
Yeah.
37, Memorial Day Massacre. Chicago Police Department shoot and killed 10 unarmed labor demonstrators during the Little Steel Strike in the United States. What the hell, dude? As soon as your police start shooting your citizens, you've lost. 38, New York Yankees sweep arch rival Boston Red Sox 10-0 and 5-4 in front of 83,533 at Yankee Stadium. Wow, they got annihilated. 38 as well, Walter Piston's dance work, The Incredible Flutist, written for the Boston Pops Orchestra, which premiered it. Arthur Fiedler conducting.
Oh, Arthur Fiedler.
Yeah, but a flute is an instrument, not a dance. His dance work, The Incredible Flutist? What is this, some kind of Fiddler on the Roof situation? What the hell? Why is there a fiddler on the roof? What are you doing up there, 41, the first anti-Semitic measures in Serbia. Okay, here we go. What's going on? Why are they calling it anti-Semitic? What's happening? 41, British Army entered Baghdad chasing pro-German coup government. Initially, I was just wondering, why the hell is there a pro-German coup government in Baghdad? But then again, it's 41, World War II, they were in there. So, we also have Manolis Glezos and Apostolos Santas climbed the Athenian Acropolis and tore down the German flag. All right. 42, 1,047 bombers bombed Cologne in RAF's raid of World War II. Or I guess in an RF raid. Yeah, it's a 90-minute attack on Cologne in Germany. Okay, I don't. Where is this? 1942. Yeah, this isn't telling us anything. Well, with a location at least.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it says right here, bomb Cologne. Okay. 42 as well. Satchel Paige pitched 5 innings to defeat Dizzy Dean All-Stars 8-1. Good old Satchel Paige. 42 as well. USS aircraft carrier Yorktown left Pearl Harbor. 43, during the Holocaust, Joseph Mengele became chief medical officer of the Zieguner Familienbier, the Romani family group, at Auschwitz concentration camp. Yeah, Mengele. Horrible, horrible name to know. 44, transport number 75 departed Drancy in France internment camp, taking 1,000 French Jews to Auschwitz extermination camp in Nazi German-occupied Poland. 627 were killed upon arrival. Approximately 99 survived the war of this transport of 1,000. So less than
10%.
10%. That's crazy. Loons time. 1946, Bomber Rawell hit a home run in a baseball match. The ball shattered Boulevard clock in Ebbets Field in Brooklyn, New York.
Whoa.
Okay, so apparently some clock.
Yeah, well, there's probably a clock in the outfield somewhere.
You know what? I'm going to look that up here just to see if they have a picture of that clock that's been, like, damaged or something. Let's see here. Oh, right there. Yeah, right here. So there it is. In the scoreboard.
Way up there.
Yeah. Well, it's a home run.
Yeah, big time.
Yep. 46 as well. United Flight 521 crashed on takeoff at LaGuardia Airport in New York. 42 died. 48, a dike along the flooding Columbia River broke, obliterating Vanport, Oregon within minutes. 15 people die and tens of thousands were left homeless. 1 year later, 49, East German Constitution was approved. Okay. And we also have NPS VHP won first general election in Suriname. All right. 1953, the first Major League Network baseball game, Cleveland 7, Chicago 2. Yeah. 54, Dutch bishops forbade the membership to non-Catholic sporting clubs. That ain't right. 56, bus boycott began in Tallahassee, Florida. And so the whole Montgomery thing is spreading. Kind of reminds me of the honking. It went up in Canada. I knew about what was happening in Washington. Apparently, there is something going on in Argentina or something, or Brazil. Remember, a couple days ago, we covered an article about, the truck, convoy, some country in South America, they were doing the same thing. Canada is most known for it because they got the most momentum and the most pushback, Like, anybody supporting them, they got their bank account frozen. Can you say fascism? And it doesn't surprise me that what's his face, Justin Castro honored a Nazi veteran during the June 6th thing. What a bastard. 56 as well, Mickey Mantle missed by 18 inches, hitting first home run out of Yankee Stadium in the first game of the doubleheader against the Washington Senators. 58 unidentified soldiers killed in World War II and Korean Wars were buried in Arlington. So their remains, who were killed in action, were buried in the tomb of the unknown soldier in Arlington National Cemetery. So it should be tomb, but not tome. We've been there.
Yes.
Didn't we see the changing of the guard?
Yes.
Okay. 59, Iraq withdrew from the Baghdad Pact, which included Iran, Iraq, Pakistan, Turkey, and the United Kingdom. One of those are unlike the other. Freaking imperialist white man coming in. So, 59, President Luis Somoza Debayle ended emergency crisis in Nicaragua. That's good. President Stroessner disbanded Paraguay's parliament. That's not good. The Auckland Harbour Bridge was officially opened in Auckland, New Zealand. Opened by Governor General Charles Lilliton, the 10th Viscount Cobham. Cobham, what a name. This bridge. So it's yes, indeed, yeah, bridge with bridge-like qualities and features and constructs. Yeah, like how many bridges can you see before you've seen them all? 1961, longtime Dominican dictator Rafael Trujillo was assassinated in Santo Domenico, Dominican Republic. 6 separate tyrannists. 1962, Benjamin Britten's War Requiem, incorporating the poems of Wilfred Owen, premiered, marking the consecration of the new Coventry Cathedral. That's a heck of a series of events right there. So we have his work incorporating somebody else's work for the consecration of a freaking house of worship. That's wild. 63, a protest against pro-Catholic discrimination during the Buddhist crisis was held outside South Vietnam's National Assembly, the first open demonstration during the 8-year presidency or rule of Ngo Dien Diem. He was not a good guy. 64, MLB San Francisco Giants sweep doubleheader against New York Mets 5-3 and 8-6 in a combined 23 innings. Records included elapsed time of 9 hours and 50 minutes, 47 strikeouts, 7 hours and 22 for the second game. That can't be hours. But it can't be minutes. It has to be hours then. And New York's 22 Ks in 2 games. This is weird. I'm trying to... Hold on a second.
I don't know how a game would take 7 hours.
The elapsed time of 9 hours. So I guess the second game was 7 hours. So... 23 innings, that's 3 and change of my 7-inning stretches.
Yeah.
So, you know me and how much I love my 7-inning stretches. 64, the Beatles' 1961 recording of an original instrumental Cry for a Shadow was #1 in Australia and was the only song credited to songwriting team of George Harrison and John Lennon. And we also have the Beatles' "Love Me Do" single went #1 in the United States. So 2 #1s in 2 different countries. I know. Yeah. 66, 300 U.S. airplanes bombed North Vietnam. We also have more Beatles here. The Beatles released single "Paper Black Rider" / "Rain" in the U.S. "Rain" featured experimental studio tracks of slowed down bass and drums track and backwards vocals in the fade out. So they're getting creative. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Former Congolese Prime Minister of Austria Kemba and several other politicians were publicly executed in Kinshasa on the orders of President Joseph Mobutu. Yikes. 67, U.S. motorcycle daredevil Robert Evel Knievel motorcycle jumps 16 automobiles in Gardena, California.
Yeah.
67 as well, Argentinian author Gabriel Garcia Marquez's most important work, 100 Years of Solitude, was published in Buenos Aires. 67, Republic of Biafra, a predominantly Igbo secessionist state in eastern Nigeria, was founded by Lieutenant Colonel Odimegwidu Ojokuru, and to prove that I wasn't saying a racial slur, Igbo. I'm not saying the slur that sounds like that. So, 1967, Yankee Whitey Ford, nearing 41, announced his retirement from baseball. 1 year later, Beatles began their work on their only album, or the only double album, The Beatles, properly known as the White Album. There you go. You already knew it. Yeah. Do you still have your albums?
No.
What happened to them? Did you sell them to a friend
No.
or something?
Long story.
Go for it.
No.
I mean, like, how long? Just say something. Come on.
I
want to know. Like,
well, I kind of left them after my first divorce.
oh, okay. That's a short story. That's not all you needed to say.
Yeah.
Like, I understand. That's unfortunate, though. 1968, President de Gaulle disbanded French Parliament. What are you doing, de Gaulle? What the hell? Other source says Charles de Gaulle reappeared publicly after his flight to Baden-Baden, West Germany, and dissolved the French National Assembly by radio appeal. Immediately after this, less than 1 million of his supporters marched on the Champs-Élysées in Paris. This was the turning point of May 1968 events in France. Yeah, so I guess this was when, people already didn't like him and all that stuff. So, as the saying goes, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Because he was the GOAT, in World War II. If it wasn't for him, there might not have been a France. But
True.
So, 68, the Paulnerkirche, a church built in 1231 at the University of Leipzig, was demolished by the East German communist regime to make way for a new development. Protesters are arrested. I want to personally torture for all eternity all the motherfuckers behind that. Like, freaking communists, man. Like, this is what it look at that. The freaking communists took away a magnificent 1231.
Yeah.
Like, fuck communism. Absolutely fuck communism. This is horrible. Like, protesters were arrested. That sounds incredibly, familiar with, like, a bunch of things happening today, like how the commies are always knocking down statues and banning books and everything. And now we have all these tech centers that are polluting the water, sucking up the energy, bullying, cities, throwing their money around, and they're getting their police to arrest people for complaining about it on social media. Saying that they're trying to incite a stir and all that stuff. And now people are actually, it's getting bad. In these small communities, people are actually throwing Molotov cocktails at, the people's, their governments, their houses and everything. Like, I'm not talking about their houses of parliament, I'm talking about where they live.
Yeah, I got you.
Like, shit's getting real. Because, these tech centers, they're just muscling in, bullying in, legally, illegally, otherwise, they're just making the tech centers. And already, like, I was watching a video earlier, there's already moves by the government, and Trump's behind this as well, and one of the reasons why I don't support him. He's there's moves going on about there's soon going to be anti-tech center, technology terrorism. They're already ramping up, getting ready to fight these people in the streets, violently. So shit's gonna get real here really quick. What else do we got here? 1968, the West German Parliament accepted emergency crisis law. What does that entail?
Yeah.
What emergency crisis? 69, Gibraltar adopted the Constitution. Pretty cool. We also have riots by oil workers striking against economic and racial disparities in Williamstrad, Curaçao, Netherlands, Antilles spark calls for the for the island's independence. All right, I'm all for independence. 1970, baseball all-star voting was returned to the fans. I'm all for that. Yeah, let them decide. 70 as well. Tigers Al Khalil collided with another player and swallowed his tongue.
Oh, geez.
Was knocked unconscious and well, according to other source, actually no, primary source edited, was knocked unconscious and nearly swallowed his tongue.
Oh, okay.
So,
Alkaline.
Yeah. Alkaline.
Kaline.
Yeah.
That's the way it's pronounced.
Yeah. 71, 36 were hospitalized during Grateful Dead concert. They drank LSD-laced apple juice. Wow. It's a heck of apple juice right there. 71, U.S. Mariner 9 was the first satellite to orbit Mars. It was launched. It was launched on this time, so it would become the first satellite to orbit Mars. And it did so. It was a mission to map 70% of the surface and to study temporal changes in the atmosphere and the surface of Mars, which means temperature fluctuations, all that stuff. Temporal, you think of like traveling between realities. No, it's just temperature. 71 as well. Willie Mays hit his 638th home run, setting National League record of 1,950 runs scored. Epic. 72, 3 Japanese PFL terrorists killed 24, wounding 72 at Tel Aviv's Lod International Airport. What the fuck is Japan doing in Israel? Like, what?
I don't know.
From other sources, in Ben Gurion Airport, at the time Lod Airport, Israel, members of the Japanese Red Army carried out the Lod Airport massacre, killing 24 and injuring 78 others.
Good grief.
What are they doing in Israel? That's weird.
People.
72 as well, the Angry Brigade, what a name, went on trial over a series of 25 bombings throughout the United Kingdom of Britain, Scotland, and Ireland. All right. 74, the Airbus A300 passenger aircraft first entered service. Let's take an image search of this bird.
The Airbus.
Yeah, Airbus. 75, the European Space Agency, ESA, was established and formed. Excellent. 79, Ted Coombs began a 5,193-mile roller skate from LA to New York City.
Oh, jeez.
Didn't we cover when he got there?
I don't
or
think
something?
so.
Could have sworn.
I don't recall that.
1980, first papal visit to France since 1814. So yesterday and the day before, we covered the first papal visit to the United Kingdom in a long time, and now he's visiting to France. 1980 as well, the Turner's painting Julia and Her Nurse sold for $6.4 million. This was removed from primary source, but didn't we cover this yesterday? Because we looked that up, and there was a painting of freaking Venice.
Yeah.
So yeah, there it is again.
Yeah.
Or is this it? This looked more like it. Julie and Her Nurse.
Yeah.
So is that it? But why is this history of painting coming up?
Why is that coming up? I have no idea.
Yeah, exactly. And then we have more of this, so it's weird. What else do we? 1980 as well, Twins Ken Landreau ended a hitting streak after 31 games. 1981, Nightline extended from 4 nights to 5 nights a week, adding Friday. 81 as well, LA Dodgers were quickest to get 1 million attendance in a season in only 22 games.
Wow.
Let's go Dodgers! Let's go Brandon. 1982, during the Cold War, Spain joined NATO, becoming the 16th member. NATO really needs to dissolve, I swear. 83, American League President Lee MacPhail suspended Yankees owner George Steinbrenner for 1 week for his public criticism of umpires. That's unconstitutional. This is what I'm talking about. When I say that, like organizations and companies need to abide by the Constitution and Bill of Rights to certain degrees, not necessarily as stringent as government, but if you can allow a private company to infringe on people's freedoms, what's stopping the government from using that company to provide complete, total, dominance?
Well,
that's how they do it.
Wait a minute.
That's how they got us to mandate masks,
But this is the commissioner of the American League Baseball suspended one of the owners
for not liking umpires.
Yeah,
he has every right to have an opinion.
No.
That's against freedom of speech. That's against
Not
his freedom
within
of
the
speech.
He's
That's
hurting-
what I'm saying. Within the
He
organization,
is not allowed to hurt the image of baseball. No way, no how.
That's not hurting the
And
image. That's
of
providing.
course it is.
No, but by denying somebody their opinion, that's a worse hurting of image than whatever that one guy says. Now it's an oppressive problem. Now, I view baseball. I'm not viewing baseball bad because he has a negative opinion of umpires. I view baseball bad now because his opinion is getting suppressed. That's not right.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Because it's a private enterprise, and he's hurting the image of baseball when he's criticizing umpires, especially an owner.
Well, by suspending somebody for having an opinion is a worse image, in my opinion, than one Joe Blow's, opinion of an umpire. I'm sorry. That's not right. That is absolutely not right. You want to add this to IOYO?
Sure.
All right. So, you know what? I'm just going to throw this article in. Right here. IOYO. Where is it? Where are you? There we go. All right. Hopefully that's enough for me to remember what that's about. 83, Surrey all out for 14 versus Essex, their lowest score ever. Obviously that's cricket. No idea what the hell that means.
Surrey is in England.
Yes. And so is Essex. 85, Stanley Cup Final, Northlands Coliseum, Edmonton, AL. Edmonton Oilers took back-to-back titles, defeating Philadelphia Flyers 8-3 for a 4-1 series victory. Wayne Gretzky and Jari Kurri each post a goal and 3 assists. 86, Barry Bonds made his MLB debut for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Ao's time! 1987, Mike Tyson defeated Pinklin Thomas by technical knockout in round 6 in Las Vegas to retain WBC, WBA heavyweight boxing titles. We also have North American Phillips Company unveil the compact disc video, so eventually DVD.
Yeah.
Or CDV, which can hold up to 800 megabytes, enough for a full-length movie. So there you go, the event leading up to a DVD. We also have a Tony Tucker technically knock out Buster Douglas in 10 for heavyweight boxing title. 1989, Margaret Ray pled guilty to breaking into David Letterman's house. What the hell? What a weirdo. We also have Tiananmen Square protests of 1989, the 10-meter high Goddess of Democracy statue, the one we spoke about yesterday, modeled after the Statue of Liberty. Remember? We spoke about, they made a 10-meter high Statue of Liberty, named it the Goddess of Democracy.
Yeah.
Unveiled in Tiananmen Square by student demonstrators. And don't think I didn't hear that. So, why is this not? Hold on a second. 10-meter high Goddess of Democracy. Let's see if this could. There we go. So, funny how the article didn't provide the image initially. I had to search for it. Because Google, is in bed with the Chinese communists, and they want to suppress this information as much as they do. 1990, Croatian Parliament was constituted after the first free multi-party elections, today celebrated as the National Day of Croatia. All right. Okay. 91, 64th National Spelling Bee, Joanna Legata won spelling anti-pyretic. I can actually pronounce that one.
Got one.
Yeah. We also have Mexican-American Aurora Barrios. Well, Mexicans are American, so you mean Mexican Stadium, right? Ran a world record 1-hour distance covering 21.101 kilometers. Record was later broken in 2007. I'm going to change this to Mexican Stadium. There we go. Because Mexico's in America, Call somebody a Mexican American, like an American? What the hell are you talking about? And kind of going off on a rant here. What the fuck's an African American? Elon Musk's an African American. He has dual citizenship in Africa and America, the continents, and he's whiter than me. He, doesn't dictate black color, so just call them blacks. I mean, if you really want to label people, just label them what they are. Or you can be smart and just call them humans, like real people.
How about call them Americans?
Yeah. Well, what's with all the segregation from the left constantly? I mean, again, they did create the KKK, So, 91, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled prosecutors can be sued for legal advice they give police and can be held accountable in Burns versus Reed. That makes sense. 92, New York Lottery paid $30 million to one winner. The numbers were 12, 15, 30, 33, 44, and 48. 92 as well, New York Yankees Scott Sanderson became the 9th to beat all 26 teams. Who was the first, though?
Yeah.
No. 92, UN voted for sanctions against Serb-led Yugoslavia to halt fighting. Yes, because, people who are killing each other give a shit about money. 96, 69th National Spelling Bee. Wendy Gree won spelling vivisipulture. I mostly got that one.
Pretty close,
So.
I think. Maybe you're right on.
Yeah.
Who knows?
96, Albert Bell used a forearm to break up a double play and nearly broke Brewers second baseman Fernando Vina's nose. Bell got a 2-game suspension. Yikes. 96 as well, John Tesh's final day as host of Entertainment Tonight.
Oh, Don Tesh.
Don Tesh, yeah.
John Tesh.
John Tesh. We're just screwing up. 97, Betty Shabazz, widow of Malcolm X, was set on fire by her 12-year-old grandson.
Whoa.
What the fuck is going on with that family? Like, what
Whoa.
the hell? Wow. 98, a magnitude 6.6 earthquake hit northern Afghanistan, killing up to 5,000 people. Specifically, it shook the Tekhar province in northern Afghanistan with a maximum Mercalli intensity of 7, very strong, killing between 4,000 to 4,500, or up to 5,000. Yeah. So, 98 Super Rugby Final, Eden Park, Auckland. In an all-New Zealand final, Andrew Martinez landed 2 penalties and 2 conversions as the Canterbury Crusaders beat the Blues 20-13. Crusaders' first title. Blimey! Congratulations, mate. I don't know how they cheered out there. 98 nuclear testing. Pakistan conducted an underground test in the Karahan Desert. It was reported to be a plutonium device with a yield of 20 kilotons of TNT equivalent. Wow.
Testing their nukes.
Yep. 99, 53 people were killed in the stampede at the Nyamiro metro station in Minsk, Belarus. Yeah. 2003, animated fishtail Finding Nemo, directed by Andrew Stanton and starring Albert Brooks and Ellen DeGeneres, premiered in the U.S. and Canada. Oh no, Ellen DeGeneres in that movie?
Yeah, she's the voice.
I'm gonna have to not like that movie anymore. 2003, animated. We got that one. DePayne massacre. At least 70 people were associated with the National League for Democracy. Were killed by government-sponsored mob in Burma. Aung San Suu Kyi fled the scene but was arrested soon afterwards. So that guy must have been involved somehow. 2005, Gordon Ramsay first appeared on U.S. television in cooking competition show Hell's Kitchen on Fox. You know, but do not forget, this guy's a libtard. So.
Look how young he is. Good cook, I guess, though.
Yeah, well, I don't
kind
care.
Of an ass.
You know, well, more than an ass, he's a libtard. He's a danger to human society. 2008, Convention on Cluster Munitions was adopted. What does that entail? Like, what does that? I want to know, specifics. 2009, Super Rugby Final in Pretoria. Morenstein kicked 5 conversions and 2 penalties as the Bulls thumped the Chiefs in Waikato, New Zealand, 61-17. Holy crap! That absolutely is a thumping and a drubbing and a teeth kicked in and an absolute wreck in the posterior there. 2012, a number of nations, including Germany, Turkey, and Canada, expelled Syrian diplomats following the Hula massacre. That would do it. 2012 as well, Vishwanathan Anand won his 5th World Chess Championship. I'm surprised I was even able to say his name. So, we also have former Liberian President Charles Taylor was sentenced to 50 years in prison for his role in atrocities committed during the Sierra Leone Civil War. Ooh, that was a bad one. 2013, Nigeria passed a law banning same-sex marriage. Based. 2014, former military chief al-Sisi won 93% of the vote in Egypt's presidential election. That is fishy as hell. 93%? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that's a...
2014, yep, Seth MacFarlane's A Million Ways to Die in the West was released to theaters. MacFarlane's first live-action role on the big screen. He's the guy who created Family Guy and American Dad and various other shows and whatnot.
Okay.
So.
Never heard of him.
Yeah.
Now I have.
Yeah. Well, do you remember Million Ways to Die in the West? Didn't we see it in theaters? I could have sworn.
What was the name of it again?
Million Ways to Die in the West.
Never heard of that movie.
I've shown scenes of it.
No, you may have.
Do you remember that movie with the scene with the giant ice crushing the guy?
Jeez, I don't right off.
Wow, hold on a second. Million Ways to Die Ice. I have it hotkeyed. This is basically a scene. He's talking about the ice. Here we go.
Fucking boy. Hey, Albert, maybe we should just go to church. It'll make you feel a lot better.
Church is not gonna...
Oh, hey, look, it's the ice.
Oh, no.
Why is it so big?
So it doesn't melt.
Oh, that's so neat.
Frozen lakes and ponds, and they just ship it.
It's a hilarious movie. People die at the fair. 2015, Alistair Cook became the leading score runner of all time in Test cricket for England. Nice. Congratulations. Whatever, that means. I mean, it's cricket. For all we know, that could be a bad thing. In 2016, former Chad dictator Hissène Habré, convicted of crimes against humanity by the Extraordinary African Chambers, first ex-head of state convicted of the charge. All right. 2017, a car bomb outside an ice cream shop in Baghdad killed 17. Islamic State claimed responsibility. That's personal. Leave ice cream alone. Come on. At least he didn't bomb a cake factory. Oh, then I would have personally gone in there and ended ice by myself. No. Islamic State there. 2017, large suicide bomb in the diplomatic quarter of Kabul, Afghanistan, killed more than 150 and injured 400. Yikes. 2017 as well, South Korean President Moon Jae-in ordered a probe into additional launches for the U.S. THAAD anti-missile system from the U.S. They were installed without being reported to the new governments. So he was under investigation for that. So working with the U.S. behind his own government's back. That's not good. 2019, Austria appointed its first female chancellor, Brigitte Bierl, to head caretaker government after fall of the coalition government. Okay. We also have Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards sign a new anti-abortion, making it the 5th southern U.S. state to ban abortion when fetal heartbeat was detected. Well, okay. 2019, Narendra Modi was sworn in for a second term as Indian Prime Minister in New Delhi with 8,000 guests at largest ever gathering at the presidential palace. Awesome. 2019, singer R. Kelly charged with 11 new counts of sexual assault and abuse in Chicago. Yeah, of course. Freaking R. Kelly, man. We also have 2 new studies found eating processed foods led to an early death and ill health published in British Medical Journal. Gee, you think? I mean, I'm not even a scientist, and I figured that out when I was eating McDonald's when I was a kid. Even a dumbass kid, I'm going to eat crab. Of course it's not good for you. You think I'm going to eat broccoli at 12? Fuck out of here with that. 2020, record number of Kung Flu cases reported worldwide, 134,064, driven by hotspots in Brazil, Peru, Egypt, South Africa, and Bangladesh. 2020 as well, SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket launch carrying the Dragon capsule from Cape Canaveral to the International Space Station, the ISS, first private company to launch astronauts into space. So, nice. Actually, other source says the Crew Dragon Demo 2 was launched from the Kennedy Space Center, becoming the first crewed orbital spacecraft to launch from the United States since 2011, and the first commercial flight to the ISS. So there you go. 2021, tens of thousands of people marched in Brazilian cities against President Jair Bolsonaro and his handling of the Kung Flu pandemic. 365 days later, European Union agreed to a plan to block 2/3 of Russian oil. Whatever happened to that? Frontier became the world's fastest supercomputer and first exascale computer, able to perform a quintillion calculations per second at US's Oak Ridge National Laboratory. Can you even imagine quintillion?
No. Can't even start to imagine.
Quintillion. So, okay, so let's see here. 1,000, 1 million, 1 billion, trillion, quadrillion, quintillion. So this with 369, 918, 18 zeros? Yeah. So after, that's a ridiculous number. So 2024 or 2023, 400 leading AI industry experts signed a letter warning, quote, mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war, end quote. Did anybody else just get a shiver go through their entire soul? Why are we not paying more attention to this shit, guys? 2023 as well, a drone strike in Moscow was the first attack on a Russian residential neighborhood with no casualties since the invasion of Ukraine began. We also have former U.S. startup founder Elizabeth Holmes began her 11-year prison sentence for defrauding investors with her blood testing company Theranos. I remember hearing about that. 24, a jury in New York City found former U.S. President Donald Trump guilty on 34 felony counts of falsifying business records to hide payments made to prevent damaging personal information from being released prior to the 2016 yada yada blah 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 fake news bullshit. And I do not support Donald Trump, but I know bullshit is bullshit. And both sides are bullshit. It doesn't matter if you're red, blue, conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrats, any of that. They're both wings on the same bird, and it's not an eagle, It's a vulture picking your ass, specifically the side of your ass with your wallet. So, don't fall into the bull crap. 2024, Vermont became the first U.S. state to pass a law requiring fossil fuel companies to pay for damages caused by climate change. Are you fucking kidding me? Wow.
Yeah, good old Vermont.
Yeah, stupid. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, check the underbar description for any links that you might find interesting, including but not limited to all things Omni Coalition. Pardon me, a lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis. We can only bring you a portion from our sources. All 38, pages of this document we just went through in an hour and 5 minutes. I told you it wouldn't be that bad. I'm doing one more scan for comments. Anyway, it's up to you to find the artifacts of our history, but only if each individual reaches out with and for open mindfulness, with a yearn to learn, to see outside of what you think you know, to grow and find enlightenment. We have to find common ground with those who see their opinions differently from our own and find a better way to be better to one another. If you're still watching, type in lighter in the comments just to let us know, you made it all the way to the end. For your dose of Passive Edge Daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Xander.
Golden Loon.
And you are you. And until you catch us next time, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles! I'm going to go attack that cake.